always hitting your child, but you're not affirming your child and telling them how they're valuable, what they're good at. You're not giving them that. So when you hit them, it's like this is all.
Just that's it.
That's it.
Like this is it.
Yeah.
I'm just giving you because you did something wrong. And that's it.
And
I think for the older generation, like what we were saying before, they did not know better in a way, and at the same time they just did what they knew, which is probably something
They didn't
carried
receive
over.
that.
So all these things are obviously something that is quite new, and we know even if you have to sit down and talk to them about it, like, hey, don't you think when you're doing these things, it sort of hurt me and made me feel this way? To them, you're actually opening up another chapter that they don't even know how to process. It's up to us, but at the same time, that conversation needs to be.
It's really
It's really needed, but at the same time, when all that was happening, you didn't know about it.
True.
You didn't know about it. You didn't know about it, and then now that you're more aware, and then you talk about it. To them, they're like, I've already beaten you. I've already said all this. Now look at you. You're not strong. You're like this. Look, you came out so good. But then internally, it's still eating you inside, even when you try to hold yourself together. So
Well, sometimes I guess it's probably a good start to talk to them. Because for them it's.
Like you're the one that's right. It's like you're starting a new thing. Obviously, how you're saying they don't know it. It's like you obviously maybe you're growing up here, you're seeing things from a different perspective. So it's like you might come up, speak about it the first time and probably get hit.
Oh,
but
definitely.
it's like you have to keep trying, and then I think they'll get the hang of it.
Lovely story from my end.
Yes.
For me, I really wanted to break a barrier of where it feels weird but it wasn't really a culture to be like I love you to my dad. He wouldn't say it, he would just be like, okay, bye.
Thank you.
Yes, and I'm like, so now I started saying it the first times. Okay, bye. Eventually, he's like, I love you. And
that's
so
good.
I
started the good night with my mom and like a kiss on the cheek thing. At first it felt weird. Because you're like, okay, what's that? What are you doing? What did you smoke? But eventually, as I kept doing it, I didn't give up. I was trying to show her a different perspective.
And they
and she accepted it.
I love you, mommy. I text off with her. I'm like, I love you, mommy.
Yes.
I love you too.
It's interesting what abuse can actually do because it installs all these things that even some of the things that are needed to also groom up obviously a child or a person growing up from an infant to obviously old age. And with the way that this abuse has played out, some of the things become alien. Even when you try to say them, it's like you're sort of jumping yourself, like you're just jumping into the water and just hoping you can just float.
What about kids that, say for us, we can easily talk to our parents, but what about children that can't? There's huge barriers.
That's what the challenge is. Because now you see,
it's not even just an abuse barrier. It's I've never had a relationship with parents.
But I guess that's why you actually have to work on building that relationship because it's not gonna happen in one day. Even the things that we're saying, it's like we have to break that routine. So for example, dates. I now I go on dates with my parents, but before it wasn't a thing. But I think if us as the kids, we have a different understanding. I think it's really up to us to break those barriers because again, they just know what they know, and that's it. And maybe I don't know. Maybe
definitely
if wanting to adapt, but I think
that's
it's
what
up to
they
the
can
kids.
give.
If the kid is too afraid to approach the parents directly,
sometimes we have family, like Africans, we have like extended family. There's
Yes.
always uncles
like
and
uncles.
aunties
Yes.
that would probably, you know, understand. All the people that would, you know, you'd be able to talk to them, that they would, you know, talk with your parents and start from there, and then hopefully.
But then
that can
sometimes
do-
with these uncles and aunties, when
Yes,
they talk to your
that-
parents,
that-
you get in trouble.
Be like, so you have to
So now you could
Yeah,
just
cause
business in the street, you know, and then now it's like a get
Yes.
So I think
No, that's
it's,
you pick a good uncle.
How
Now what you do?
it's about the maturity of the parents, you know what I mean?
but like,
Yeah.
The parent has to take that criticism.
which
and say,
which is
Yeah.
true,
Yeah.
because I think sometimes also in some of these forms of abuse, right, when you go to talk to your uncle, who's even if they're the best uncle out there that they're able to talk to, it still ends up with the parent how they're going to take it,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
then exert that on you.
Yeah.
Some of them will
No,
come
they'll take
sit
it
down
as
and
a-
talk to
yeah.
him like, okay,
Yeah,
I understand you
I
talk about
understand.
this.
Yeah.
Some of them are like, why did you go to talk to them?
Oh,
You know, that kind of thing. You can't tell family matters to other
To
people.
other people.
You're already getting home.
So in that situation, what next? Like what?
Yeah.
This is where what she was saying, like,
I'm
what
sorry.
about those children that can stand up to?
But it's a
professors?
working
It's a
person.
working process. I feel like
Take
it's like
baby
you have,
steps.
it takes
Yeah,
baby
it
steps.
takes
You
baby
start
steps.
doing things that you
Small
don't
things,
usually do.
yeah. Like just
You're gonna crawl before
like-
you walk, before you run.
some
You know,
some kids can't even say good
I
morning.
know.
Again, they can't even say good morning to their parents in the morning. Again. You just
know,
start with those
you
simple
start,
things.
and it,
Oh,
I
good morning,
think for
Dad.
some kids it's like a hard thing where they really have to like try and understand it from their parents, or go to your parents and have the guts to be like, look,
We need to talk.
we need to talk.
We're gonna have this conversation.
You know, like this has hurt
Yeah.
me here. Even though it's a hard conversation to have, you know,
needed.
it's needed.
I think the discipline we need is where you have that mutual respect between the parent and the child.
there's a
Yeah.
connection as well.
Where the
Yeah.
kid, when he knows that he's in the wrong,
Yeah.
he might even come up to you and say,
You know what? I did
I
wrong.
did this and this.
Yeah, that's
Or
true.
when you talk to them or whatever,
Mm.
they understand straight away and they know how to change it and make it in a positive.
Yeah. Actually, one thing I've learned is like connection equals teachability.
Yeah.
You cannot teach without
Connection.
Like you're gonna have to have a relationship.
Yeah, you're gonna have to have a relationship to
Like
actually
build
be
a
able to
rapport.
teach somebody to do better.
When then relationships didn't really exist. So if you decide you're just gonna get hit, that's the relationship.
That's the relationship.
There is no-
It is a
For
relationship.
some personality types, it's easy. Like, they're like, yeah, cool, moving on with our lives, jolly, jolly, you know.
Oh, yeah?
But then for some personality types, they probably get affected more. 'Cause
Yeah, of course.
that's like, oh, they hit me, so that means they don't love me.
Mm.
Extreme, I'm not loved by
Oh my
anybody.
God.
You know, like,
Actually
yeah.
affects you worse.
Mm.
Yeah, with that, I feel like communication, good discipline comes with communication.
Mm.
Sometimes the way we
Yeah.
communicate the message is
Mm.
what is wrong.
Mm.
So, rightful communication of a message, it's how to discipline the child.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
a
I'm looking at all African parents right now.
Oh, yeah? Call their names.
Bye the man.
Soaking
I
things in kerosene,
Yeah.
water.
Yeah.
That I'm doing this because I love you. Do not please shout at me when you see me. Explain to your child. You get me? Explain to your child. I'm doing this because I love you. Yes, we know you love us, but what has gone wrong? How can I change my behavior?
Yeah.
What can I do better? You get me?
And not
Instead
every
of-
behavior needs beating.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Some behaviors need talking. Some behaviors need some,
to us.
you know.
Conversation.
Mm.
Yeah, beating is not always the result.
Yeah, for sure.
But I think what we lack is understanding.
Mm.
I feel like if there is a connection, a relationship, there will be understanding because it's kind of like, I feel like the parents, if they understand it from the child's perspective and vice versa,
Mm.
I feel like it won't even resort to beating.
Mm.
You know?
Yeah. Aisha, you didn't face any problems.
Whoa.
Are you okay? Are you okay?
Stop right there.
Before you start talking,
I was an immigrant as well, brother. I was an
you know,
immigrant as
that's
well.
what confused me, man. Like Angisha from boarding school in Africa, all the way across the ocean to here.
What is going to access later?
No, this
Oh,
boy,
so you're
this boy.
probably like,
No,
I feel this.
honestly, Angisha, I don't know what it is. But this
Do you want to talk about it? It seems like
honestly, it hurts.
Oh, yeah.
No, but he never struggled in life.
How do you know that?
Because when you got off the plane and like a day later you had the Australian accent, yeah?
Ooh, just like that.
This guy picked it
You said
up
I'm alright.
the next day. I was still talking my Zambian accent.
What's wrong with you?
The next
No,
day.
but I was like me as a child and even me now. Like I'm just such a soft person.
Oh,
you know?
really?
No, anyway, but listen, I feel like there was a contrast between me and you.
There was definitely a
There
contrast.
was a huge contrast.
There was a big
You
contrast.
never, yeah, there still is.
Tell us.
He used to you had it easy making friends. Even when you're younger, you had it easy making friends, easy to
But that's
connect
just
with
his
people.
personality.
Yeah, his personality. He never
So you
struggled
would
like that.
sort of fit into
He
the
just
area.
smoothed in. He like he,
And you had to go.
When you're out here with your hammer and be like,
No, I think I struggled a lot.
Really struggled.
I struggled.
I saw my sister struggle.
He was fine. And I used to get bullied. I used to like all of that. Like even when we first came, we went to like Cottesloe. Yeah, but I had friends there, but I used to struggle. I was like one of the few black kids in our class. I used to struggle.
But I thought Cottesloe was alright for you.
No. But then I always felt left out. Like even if you have people around
Yeah.
you, sometimes it's like they
You're still alone.
you
in
know.
a sense, yeah.
And sometimes it's like most people don't understand like where you're coming from. In terms of like for me, like I just felt like I don't know where I picked it up from, but like yeah, I think from growing up, even from my boarding school back home, I used to struggle because I always used to be alone. I never really had friends, and I think I might have picked up a mindset that said, you know, like yeah, like you're not you know, people don't like you, you're not good enough. So I was always alone.
But I like him.
I mean, I like me too. No.
Let me tell you something else. I love you.
Alright. Back on topic. But honestly though, like it was actually always really hard for me, especially from boarding school. And then like I think it was my personality type. I think
at the end of the day, it all comes down to your mentality.
Your mentality, yeah, and your
Because
personality, yeah.
When I went to that place, my guy,
yeah.
and I just said, hey, let me just treat this as like any other day. I'm not gonna look at anyone like they're different, white, black, whatever they are.
This kid was 7, by the way.
Bird.
So,
I said, I'm gonna conquer this place. You get me? I said, I'm gonna conquer it like anything, any other challenge.
I think everybody was like, Ankisha!
Yeah,
You know?
exactly.
Yeah,
Because
that's
I took it as
And everyone said this young guy.
I was like, you have a sister, and like with Zambians, we have this thing where we'll be like, oh, bring that kathing. You have to add like that kathing.
Yeah.
I
So
say
who was the
that.
captain?
No, it's just like one of those
It's
words.
just like add and add.
Oh,
to it.
okay.
You know,
Yeah.
bring that little cacao.
Yeah,
Oh,
cacao,
okay.
cacao, you know?
Yeah.
So then I used to talk like that. My accent didn't change for like years,
Yeah.
man. Oh, it
Must
was
have been
difficult, especially in primary school. Yeah, but yeah, so I say
Now when the
that.
kids are like,
They're like, what is she saying?
Can you speak English? They're like, what are you talking about? And I was like,
what do you mean? You wanna go?
Yeah.
I feel you with the accent.
Oh my god.
Yeah, look, I think it took a few months to pick up on English. So it was a bit hard, you know. Everything was yes and no. Don't care what you ask me. If you ask me a question, like, what's your name? Yes. What's the time? How are you? Yes.
no.
Look, I knew that essentials of surviving. The first few months were a bit rough. You know, it's kind of like, do you speak English?
That question. No, I don't speak English.
no.
I don't understand what you're saying, but I'll say it in English.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I guess it was a bit hard, you know. It's like you're coming a complete new land.
Completely do, yeah.
It's like, and you're surrounded by nothing but white people. Like, that was
for
weird for me.
sure.
I was like,
Yeah.
this is weird. And I feel like we had this conception of like Australia being this amazing.
Oh,
You know, the way
Oh,
like,
yeah.
and we get
oh yeah, you're gonna, there's gonna be swimming pool, you're gonna be swimming in there. And I was like,
Chocolate, man.
and I got here, I said, there's a lot of bush everywhere. Like, what's this? Is that a cat? What is that?
One of my friends asked me in Africa, they said, do you guys
have money on trees.
Wow.
Imagine.
You guys might just go out and just pick money.
Imagine.
And just come back in.
And then I hated the perspective of all the white kids. So you guys live in the jungle?
Oh gosh.
You guys swinging trees with monkeys on
Shut
up, Courtney. Like, shut up.
About that, so you guys kind of transitioned when you were younger. So I don't know, I thought maybe that would have been easier.
No,
it was hard, I guess.
mental thing. But then eventually, obviously, when you get into high school, you kind of got it.
And you kind of like start to find yourself.
Yeah. But even that, like I came here for university, but even that, like I thought it would be smooth transition. I'm like, I can already speak, I can write, like I've been to school, I've gone to high school. I feel like it should be easy to just, get in. But then I get here and I would say I felt indirectly verbally abused, even though they made it sound like it wasn't direct. Like questions like, how come you can speak English? Can you
You know what I
English?
mean? You know what I mean? Oh, you speak very good English. Oh, thank you.
It's like as if it's a talent. Like,
I didn't know how to react to that. Like,
I think because of these questions that get put on, a lot of people here obviously, like when you show up on these shows, you're a fascination to them, right?
True.
So even when you speak English, they're like, wow, how did that happen? They have this portrayal of, like I said, it's a fascination that you can speak English,
and
you can read it, like, you can do this, you can speak another language, right?
And they can't.
What more can you do? Maybe there's something that you're going to do that's going to displace this person, so now they have to defend. Now they have to abuse you. When they abuse you, you're going to feel low. And then when you feel low, they're going to discriminate you on top of that, because remember, you've got a different skin color to that person.
Yeah.
So obviously everything that's gonna come around that is gonna be basing on they're trying to put you down, mark their territory, and try to keep you down there. You know? And that's where the abuse comes in now. Because if you see even like right now what's happening in America and all that stuff, they know that it's wrong to step on someone's neck.
They do.
But someone else did it because it's what they perceive that this is the right way to do. Now imagine if this was an African brother who done the same thing. The judgment is going to be different. The discrimination is going to be different. And obviously you're going to be treated with the worst you can ever imagine. The amount of abuse and all these things. I'm pretty sure you can see this in the legislation and some of the things that they're doing out there. So it's down to the perceivement, the fascination in what they are trying to achieve out of it. Of which some of it they've gone through the discrimination abuse to achieve it.
And I feel as if sometimes it's like it's just because they're getting defensive of their country. They have that mentality of this is my land. This is my
Except
country.
it's not.
What
It's not.
Stolen land. But the thing that they come with that mentality where, oh, this is my land. What are you doing?
Like it's my land. What are you doing?
They're trying to metaphorically step on our necks, so that they make us feel low. You get me?
Exactly.
So that they assume the power and the control. You get me? They feel better about themselves, making us feel.
Yeah, like even you can even see it like even in social circles, right? Like you have like friends, like they get insecure. Like let's say you just become the new it person. Everybody likes you and all that, and then you're gonna find that one particular person who doesn't really like you. They're not gonna come and tell you that I don't like you, and they just walk away.
And it's
They're gonna set ways. In slick ways, they're gonna discriminate. They're gonna set ways. They're gonna abuse it. They're gonna do it.
It's very
so that
rare
they can
for like people of color to be promoted here.
Oh yeah.
Everybody else
you already seen that already.
You know, like just because.
And then you know what's so weird? You even notice that sometimes, like once I apply for a job, right? Obviously. I think Irene is not a very African name. So I'll be like Irene, and they hear my English, I don't sound African, and it's like I show up to the interview, it's like, oh, I wasn't expecting that.
I have a similar experience with that. So what happened 2 years ago? That was 2018. The youth ministry, not youth ministry, the Minister of Youth, they were organizing this exchange program to Hong Kong, and a white friend of mine kind of like asked me to go for it, like apply for it. I was like, oh, white girl, it's like just give it a shot. So I did the phone call first. I applied for it first, written email. They accepted that, and then they gave me a phone call, and they didn't get through this an Englishman. And because I've got a little bit of that Australian accent. So I'm like, hello, we're speaking with Getri, blah blah blah. And I'm like, guess what? I get there on the day. I got there like 15 minutes early. You gotta be on time. I get there. I get there, the receptionist is like, oh, who are you? Well, I'm like, yeah, I'm here for the interview. Like, oh, okay, have a seat. And then I sit there and I'm waiting for my turn. And then a lady comes out to call the next person, and she just ignores the fact that I'm sitting there. And then someone else walks in late for his interview. He was a white guy. And then she just walks in and then she just calls him. I think she just skipped my name or whatever happened. So she calls him in, and then he goes. And then another person comes, and then they call that person, the person goes, and they just leave me hanging. And then I went to the reception, I'm like, what's going on? I've been here for for my interview. And then the lady was like, oh yeah, she's been here for a while. And then she was like, oh, what's your name? I didn't know. And I'm like, yeah, I'm Get You. And she's like, I was here earlier. And then I walk into the interview room and they're looking at me, they're like, they felt really bad. So they started apologizing for the fact that they left me waiting. And then they're like, are you the one we spoke on the phone? I was like, yes. They're like, tell us about your experiences and your achievements here so far. And I begin to tell them about my school, my achievements, the little things that I hadn't done much, but the few contributions that I did in the community. I did Miss Africa. And then they're impressed. They're like, so you did all this in 3 years. Like, they were shocked. I could feel the shock in their voices, and I could feel how sorry they were for, treating me leaving me without, need. So I don't know if I got on that exchange because they were shocked and they were whatever, but I could feel at that moment that they were shocked when they saw who it was that they were talking to face to face. I felt that. Wow. But anyways, I still went to Hong Kong.
That's the main thing.
Yes. But yeah, how do we deal with that though when that happens? Because even in school we do experience this. I have experienced a little bit of racism in school. I know this. We've got other black people studying in school. I have a few black friends at uni, but there's been this case, another story, sorry guys. Yeah. There's this other story, my first year, I think in chemistry lab. I had 3 friends, one Indian, one was Italian, and then the other was white, yeah. So we had a group, we had to do a group work together. And then we had to share the results because we do the same experiment. Yeah. And then here's the case, one of our colleagues, the white girl, didn't turn up that week. So we did the work, but we gave her the results because she needed that results for the following week. And then we come into the lab the following week, and then we get scored, us be walking out. And then my friends are like, oh, I got high scores, thank you, for helping out with the experiment and stuff. They're like, I got 3 out of 3. This one's like, I got 3 out of 3. What did you get? And I was hiding my work because I got 2 out of 3. And then
that's what group.
Yeah, so but we did a good work. Exactly. So when they told me the scores, that's when I spoke up. I was like, how come? We had the same answers. We had the same, we did the same work. So we should get the same scores, right? Yeah. So I decided to turn back, go back and ask my demonstrator. I was like, how come? Why do they have this and why do I have that when I have the same calculations? She's like, I couldn't see your handwriting. That was his excuse. I was like, wait, what? Wow. This is not handwriting. That was a lame excuse. And I was literally shocked. I wanted to cry, but I didn't cry. And then what came out of my mouth, because that wasn't I was just like, is it because I'm black? Right there. And the tension in the room, everyone just...
Oh, you said it in front of
I said it because I didn't know how to feel. Because I didn't understand. I didn't know how to cry. Yeah. I was just like, is it because I'm black? Yeah. And she was ashamed. She just took my work, 3 out of 3. And then since then, when we do lab work, she doesn't even look at my work. She just gives me 3 out of 3. I'm like, yes, I'm going to pass this unit. That's all that matters. But to be honest, there's that bit that is still there. Yeah. And it does affect us. But if we allow it to affect us, then... So at that point, I'm just like,
I think I got discriminated against at the post office when a lady.
Is it in Kenwick?
Yeah,
that looks like it. They look pretty much.
Kenwick men. But yeah, no, I got discriminated against because I would go to get money from my parents via Western Union, and there's one lady at the post office, and she was usually the one that I would have to give the form to, and it wasn't large amounts, but it was regular. So one day I got a call from Western Union. Oh, we just had a report, that we're just researching and checking out. We've had to look at fraud allegations and and we're gonna just have to get you just to send us your ID. So I sent my ID. Next day, blocked from Western Union.
Oh yeah, good one.
So one thing that we noticed was that when we would go to the post office, she would always just act a bit funny. You know, like she'd always be a bit
sneaky.
You know, like she wouldn't talk to you the same when you're saying I'm receiving money. What for? What's the reason?
Mind your business.
Why are you receiving?
Is it your business?
Is it
busybody?
Yeah, and I think it's meant to happen like that for Western Union, but she just wouldn't believe that we're actually receiving money, or if you're actually sending stuff, she'd be like.
Wait, so was it you receiving the money here or?
So they're like,
wait, how come you're receiving money?
Yeah,
that's
sad. The simple things like that, just because it's like they can't understand that a black person can actually get money from Africa. Or like my mom. Even my mom, she walked into like a retail store, into an expensive one. She wanted to buy my dad something, and the lady was like, "Oh, clearance aisle is over here."
Ooh, that's happened to me one time.
You know,
at like this old like I just walked into the shop, yeah, and she was like, "Oh, clearance items here. Oh, they sell really cheap." She was like, "Oh, do you know you can actually go to Salvo's? We've got pizza meats. They've got really cheap stuff and blah blah blah." And I was trying to be respectful. I was just listening to her. Like, okay, thank you. She was like, "Oh, they've got sale this Monday." I was like, "Fine." And then as I was coming out, she was trying to follow me. She was thinking I was probably like catching the bus or something, or like trying to walk home or something. And then she follows me out. I just walked, pressed my car key, entered. I turned back and I looked at her. I saw the shock on her face. I'm like, why would you just see me and just judge, you know?
Yeah.
And then she was actually walking. That's sad. But it was funny to me. I was just happy seeing that reaction on her face. That she just saw me walk into the shop and then she thought I couldn't afford to get stuff that I wanted, and she was trying to like, direct me in places that I would be able to afford. You don't know me, and I'm like, I walked into my car and then she just looked at me.
It falls back on the perception of
but
Africans being poor.
And you know what they say, especially when you send a job interview in, it's always, we just don't believe that you fit the right candidate. But it's because they don't think that you fit into the culture that they're looking for. You know?
Or I think even just simple, like going to the city, like even say if there's a group of you, you're working with your friends, there's always that one white woman looking a bit, oh my god, what are they gonna do to me?
Or like the small thing.
I hate that. Oh,
that fake smile, like, what is that? Just don't smile at all that shit.
I feel like if I genuinely smile at you, I'm still gonna be smiling for another 30 seconds.
Exactly. They're gonna.
I reckon for me.
Do it again.
Or like when you enter shops, as soon as you enter, the security guard's like, they gotta get we gotta take her in the shop.
So there was actually a time where I was stealing from the shop. I said, what are you looking at?
Why are you looking at me?
Why are you looking at me? It's because I'm black. Nah, I'm joking. We're not going to incriminate ourselves.
No.
For me, there's a time where, like, I was just getting out of the train. I'm walking home. I live in this neighborhood like anyone else. And then I'm walking behind someone, and then you can tell they're visibly tense. You get me? They're visibly tense. So I just ran. And then I just saw what they were gonna do. They tripped, and I just ran past them, looked back, said, "Hey, have a good night."
Did you actually do that?
I swear I did it.
That's what I mean.
On the train over, that long ass walk.
Oh,
I was like, so it's freaking me, a young boy.
It's too much.
Attack you and steal from you. So I started running, bro. I started running, they were like, oh shit. It's my day now. It's my day now. Why did I just, why did I get off the train there? Why did I come up? Where's Barry when you need him? Nah, man, like, it's one of those. So at the end of the day, as an African in Australia, you're either sidelined or you're picked out from the crowd, you get me?
Yeah, or discriminated.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, like, I don't know, man. But normally for me, it's just been on the easy, you get me? Because obviously I hang out with a lot of Africans, so if you're in a group,
then you're together. You don't worry about.
That's true.
about
But then
people
I
thinking,
guess like we're also lucky in the sense that it's not like I feel like you can. There's like multiculturalism.
They preach
multiculturalism,
but it's really not.
It's really not.
I feel like racism in Australia is like
It's
indirectly.
very subtle,
It's not. You know. It's not. They're not like in your face like nigger,
Yeah.
but it's kind of like.
I think they want us like you do your thing over there, and we're gonna do our thing.
And then they will hire you, but then they'll be like, here's the cap.
Or like, or do you notice in some jobs, like if you're the only black person, they're gonna give you like just the most disgusting job that nobody wants.
Yeah.
Just because
You're black.
that's it. Like no other explanation.
And if you complain, you're out.
Yeah. And actually, the only way that you can actually go up is by being more like them.
Just take it.
Yeah, because if you don't hang out with like the Caucasians in your workplace, if you don't suck up to them and like you don't communicate them the way that they want you to,
Yeah.
you're not gonna.
So how do we move on?
Should we always do that then?
How do we move
Oh,
on?
it's
Unfortunately, you're a
expected.
black child.
That's how you move up. Isn't
You're
it?
a black child, that's what you gotta go through.
Well,
You started on
to
minus
be
one.
honest.
You said on minus one.
You started on minus one.
I guess I'm back to one.
From the bottom.
Although, yeah, it can get really hard to get into the system or to try to fit in. But I feel like sometimes we shouldn't always let them step on us because we feel like we don't have an option or because we want to get somewhere. So that shouldn't always be the case. Although it is hard, like maybe if you're looking for a job, sometimes you have to. Because I remember one time my resume, I did put up all my qualifications and stuff. And then can you imagine they come in, they're like, oh, you too overqualified for
I
this
hate
job.
when they do that.
And I'm like, hold up a second. If I don't have the qualifications, you wouldn't give me the job because you said I'm not qualified. Here's the case, I have the qualifications, you tell me I'm too overqualified for the job. What you
I
want
think
me to
it's
do?
just a nice way to just say we're not gonna.
Exactly, but I feel like that shouldn't deem our lives, or that shouldn't make us feel like we should be a stepping stone onto them. We can like, well, I'm a Christian, I don't know, but yeah, we can still be who you are, like, you know, put yourself out there. We don't have to put yourself down. Let's just keep putting ourselves out there and pray about it, and always speak out.
An opportunity though.
Exactly, that would come your way, and also speaking out as well in terms of abuse that we talked about, discrimination, racism. It is hard, but let's still try and speak out. That goes a long way to help, because when I spoke out in my case, what happened? She just started giving me mags, easy mags. So whether I get it right or not,
but it's okay.
it's good. Yeah, I get the grades, but it is better. I feel like it is better.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I like that.
Positive outlook, I see.
Huh?
It's a positive outlook.
No, we're trying to be positive.
So what
Yeah.
do
No,
we
we want to be negative.
No, we have to.
Let's not try to
We have to be positive.
Look,
because
have you experienced that?
Oh, I've experienced a lot.
Tell us.
Yeah, what's the time that you
Oh, the perfect time would be when I was working actually in a fast food shop. Red Rooster to be particular. I was 18 years.
Wow.
And obviously, they would not allow black kids to scan. At that time, they did not allow black kids to scan from the counter. And I just said the manager,
So you have like a
literally, like
Really?
most of us would have to work in the back because
Wow.
then they'll let the pretty white kids.
Wow.
But what you call the?
Oh!
Yeah. Tell them.
No, we can't.
We can't say the
I'm
words.
sorry, that's not okay, fine, more error. Anyways, so I was at McDonald's. I used to work in McDonald's. Back in my young days, when I was, I think 15, 16.
Ooh.
Wow. Back in the day.
Yeah, back in the day.
10 years
So
ago.
this one time, I was minding my business. I took out an order in the day. This person, this idiotic imbecile in the drive-thru is there. I don't know if I think he was insulting the staff members, and the staff manager comes out and he goes, "Look, I'm not gonna serve you if you're gonna insult my workers." I was just walking back inside. I don't even know what's going on. He goes, "Hey, what are you looking at, you black?" I said, "Sorry." Talking to me? Yeah, just insulted. I was like, I wasn't even here for it. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Honestly.
You didn't even finish your story.
Sorry.
No.
Yeah,
She had to get it out.
I was like, yeah, let it
I
out.
was like,
Shit,
Like,
dude.
Like, how you feel?
"Such a I've done what you do.
It was rough.
It was very rough. It was.
Wait, just sing whatever like that. Honestly, man.
Okay.
That's wrong.
I think for my own, it was just an experience where I was just not. They felt that I was not overly confident and qualified to stand in front of a team.
How do you
just like that?
There are reasons. But again, also it goes on to also the mindset that you're saying, where you got to speak up and obviously be positive and just to keep on, saying these things out. In the end, unfortunately, I got I got suspended for about 3 weeks. Because obviously I voiced it out. No, because obviously I voiced it out, and then they felt that the way that I went on about.
How did you voice it out?
How I voiced it out is obviously, white people believe in writing a complaint in a letter.
So you did the right thing.
You gotta be formal, right?
To whom am I concerned?
Yeah, to whom am I concerned? So I did a formal letter, and obviously it went on to the managers or
the HR.
The HR. Yeah. And then the manager who got told about this whole thing so that they can correct their code of conduct and how they were handling the whole situation, feel that it is in their right mind to just set me for 3 weeks as a way of teaching me a lesson, not to say all these things. But again, it's great that I'm a Christian and I listen to God and that you let it go. You let go because obviously a lot of people change to ways of being violent. Like, why you do this or racist and all that. Start a storm.
Yeah.
So obviously you
and then they'll say you're violent.
Yes, exactly. Then say you're violent because now you're fitting the profile.
Because he did it the formal way. And
because he did formal way, so now obviously it doesn't record. I mean, later on, the way to move forward from it, I just think just do the right thing. Even though you're gonna be in the storm, just weather the storm, because always in the end you get the favors.
Exactly.
Go promoted from that point.
I always feel like if I don't get a job, or if I'll just be like, I am losing. You're the one losing me. Because you don't know what I can bring to the table.
Yeah, sure.
You lost. Y'all lost. Not mine.
Well, actually,
Okay, wrapping up. You haven't said moving forward, then finish.
Yes, moving forward.
Moving forward.
Wow.
So how do we move forward then?
We move forward, like we've all said, first, I think the important thing is speaking up. I mean, weirdly, I feel like as Africans, I think the best way to fit in, especially like I feel like when you're new, you just kind of fit in and just try to go with the flow and not, you don't want to be too loud, you don't want to stand out too much, you just want to be there to do your job. So I feel like you just take whatever is given to you. But I feel like if one person speaks up here, one person, if we're all speaking up, like I feel like we'll start to change. But if we all just take it, then they'll just continue to do it. And the cycle's never gonna end.
Just take hold of us who never.
For me, there was a time at school where I think there was just like 2 of us black kids in the class, and like some kids would try to pick on us, So we said, hey, like,
smash the tooth thing. No? Okay.
No, not their teeth, just their little cages.
Oh yeah.
No, but we say, listen, man, I've got your back, you've got mine. We wear the storm together again. So at the end of the day, I think a good way to move forward is not stick with your people, but help your brother out as well. Because at the end of the day, you are your brothers and your sisters' keepers. You can't see injustice and let it go. Because at the end of the day, if you see injustice and let it go, you're part of the problem.
And then there is some Africans that actually have those jobs in high places.
They don't want to help.
Yeah, they're cool. Rather stuck the white people's asses and not actually.
And not help the
Africans together.
Because the mentality.
I've made it now. I'm on
So why should I just let you get it like that? That is really wrong.
And they look at everybody else's presence.
Yeah, pretty much. Like you're all beneath.
I've made it.
Yeah.
I've made it.
So that's the point. We really need to stick up to each other if that's what they're doing. But hopefully our generation will change.
We can do it. Yeah, actually keep the community together and let's all rise together.
Exactly. Yeah.
I think even this project that we're doing is important.
Oh, wait, let's do it. He didn't do it. Oh,
Hey! High place is looking down at us. No. You're not. I think the project that we're actually doing right now will provide a platform for us to actually tackle some of these things.
Yeah.
That's what we're talking about. And obviously, with the African collectives, obviously with your rap culture for the. I think if we all spread, and also obviously this series that we're making, I think if we spread all the messages through and actually talk about these controversial topics. They will definitely go a long way because you never know if someone is out there home stuck. They don't know what to do. They never listen to this.
Some people are just misinformed at the end of the day.
They just need
ignorance brings a lot of hatred and a lot of so you inform.
It's a good thing we're doing this, guys, and hey, for the rest of you, please join the show, please. We need your voices. We need your voices.
We need your voices.
Thank you guys for tuning in.
Thank you guys.
We'll see you in the next one.
Next episode.
Unfortunately, all good things have to come to an end. You know, we're on a time crunch. Hope you guys enjoy.
Thank you guys for joining us today on this episode.
We'll see you at the next one.
This has been For the African Child. Let's go! Black Child, sorry. This has been For the Black Child.